What was it that happened? Because, I mean, you talked about 1993 bombing, and then the action was a lot different post 9/11. And then you also talked about the everyday people, how they need to get into this. I think we're at that stage also where government needs to get the everyday people into this, because so many people out there still think, wait a minute, what's going on? Is this really here with us? And how did America move from the actions they took prior to 1993 to galvanizing themselves post 9/11, such that the everyday person on the street got so security conscious that, I mean, you have to just keep looking and checking to be sure that, okay, this is here. We have to get a new attitude and everything.
You know, one of the things that we have, which is most coveted in our nation, is freedom of speech and freedom of expression. What Americans realize, especially through the Patriot Act, which was very controversial under the Bush administration, and what many people don't realize, that privately, President Obama has been fierce in fighting terrorism in his own ways. Not only has he enforced the laws in terms of the profiling, eavesdropping on telephone conversations, he's even strengthened the laws that are on the books, but it's something that he doesn't necessarily get a lot of credit for. And so what Americans have done, sadly to say, and you may say it's worth the price, is that we've sacrificed some of our freedoms and some of our rights in the name of security, in the name of safety. I mean, what we have to endure at the airport, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I know you've heard the story about these full body scans where they show nudity. You hear how they harass senior citizens, they harass little kids 4 and 5 years old. And while you may see that as an inconvenience and you see it as a violation, at the airports, because that's where we were violated the most, they take no risk through the TSA. Now they're trying to do a better job in terms of who they profile, because obviously there are some people that just does not fit a terrorist profile. But we've sacrificed some of our freedoms. We've sacrificed the fact that I don't mind the government eavesdropping on my conversation. I don't mind myself being inconvenient going to the airport, because look, I'm not a terrorist. I have nothing to hide. So if that's what it takes to save lives, then I'm willing to sacrifice that. And the bottom line is that people must be willing to sacrifice those freedoms and expression and a movement that we enjoy so freely in order to protect the soil that we live on.
I mean, I saw a publication on net. It was written by Steve Kirsch. Then he was talking about the 6 key lessons of 9/11 and 2 basic questions he put out there. What could we have done that would have reduced the chance that the 9/11 attack would have happened, the 9/11 attack? And he says, what should we be doing now to reduce the chance of this happening again? These 2 questions, could it be such that any country that is faced with these kind of situations, terrorist attacks, can they also take these questions and put it in their own circumstance and see that, listen, we have to also see these questions and see if we could focus on this and get a lot of things solved?
You know, that's a very interesting perspective. But you know what? America made some grave mistakes early on from the Achille Lauro and Beirut. One of the things about these terrorist extremists is that if you don't meet strength with strength, if they come in and bomb the Achille Lauro, if they bomb you in Beirut, you've got to fight fire with fire. The only thing they respect is force against force. If they take you out, you go and take them out. They do not respect weakness. And the United States should have acted more expeditiously during the Achille Lauro, the World Trade Center bombing, and we did not.
But I'm sorry to come in there, but is it not the United States that also is one of the advocates for dialogue?
Dialogue, that's rubbish. Dialogue, what we care about is saving lives. There's a time for dialogue, but there's a time when you must fight a war.
So when do you draw the line between the time for dialogue?
Immediately, when they attack you and kill human life. Just like you may say whatever you want to say about former President Bush, you may talk about his mistakes in Iraq, you may talk about his cowboy speeches, but Americans respected him for that. They respected him for willing to go into Iraq because we were attacked and Americans wanted blood. They wanted vengeance. And that's why he was reelected.
In other words,
because he showed backbone.
In other words, if we to get something here, in as much as the people should also be part of all of this, the support of the people for those in authority is very key here.
Yes, and when President Bush wanted to go to Iraq, even though you don't hear this as much, he had the full support of the Congress and 81% of the American people. The American people were thirsty for blood. They wanted revenge. Don't underestimate the American people. Don't think that we're docile and forgiving and let's shake hands and sing Kumbaya. There's a time and place for that. But that was not the place after 9/11. We wanted blood, and blood we got.